who have become a role model in the youth, especially for the Latin community.
If I can get this far, why can't you? You just gotta find a way.
No matter, like, that's his story, like your story is unique as well. So do what you gotta do, be consistent at it. And you're gonna get there somehow.
People don't rise to their potential, they fall to their system.
What is one promise that you have made to the younger self, Andres, that you're very proud of today?
I would say never give up.
What happens when the son of an immigrant parents turns life's biggest challenges into global opportunity? Hey friends, welcome back to Stellar Talk Show, where real stories, real strategy, and real estate collide. And today's episode, this one is different. We're sitting down with none other than Andres Ramirez, a proud first-generation Canadian, a community leader, and a real estate powerhouse who's taking his mission beyond borders. Andres grew up watching his parents save every penny for their first home. He knows what it's like to struggle, to sacrifice, and to rise. Now, he's helping families achieve their home ownership dreams right here in the GTA and building real estate bridges between Canada and the Latin America through bold new ventures like StellarProperties.ca and the Latin American Trade Association of Canada. This isn't just another real estate episode. It's a story of heart, hustle, and global vision. So if you're ready to be inspired and informed, don't scroll away. Hit that subscribe, smash the like, and let's jump into this incredible conversation because trust me, you're going to remember this one. Let's get started. Hi, Andres. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's amazing to have you here. So, Andres, it's an amazing, inspiring story that I'm hearing when I hear about you. So, tell me, how did this all start? Take me back to the moment where you saw your parents immigrating into the country and starting from scratch.
So I guess you're asking like real estate, like how did that all come about? I remember when I was maybe 15, 16, my mom was looking to purchase her first home. And I just remember the process and, you know, the joy she got and our family got from finding our first home. We were moving from an apartment and obviously upsizing to a semi-detached in Vaughan. And from there, I guess you can just say, I was like, oh, that job sounds kind of cool, right? At the time. Thought it was going to be easy, but you know, here we are today, 12 years later. I have lots of experience, lots of lessons learned, and you know, just growing every day to better service our clients.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's inspiring. And how did that shape you? Like, you know, seeing yourself and your family going from where they were to where they are right now, and also like you mentioned many times. Having a home is a human right. So where did that come from? How do you feel about that?
I just felt like obviously it was a big deal to us. Not only did we move to, I guess, a better area, but also, you know, having a bigger room, having the basement, it goes a long way. And I feel like today people focus too much on the monetary side of real estate, and it's just like, oh, is it going to build me equity? Is it going to do this in terms of money? And that's all great, right? But I think there's so much more value that we're sometimes blinded by, you know, the narrative.
That's where you're starting your family, you're building your memories. Most definitely. So you told me that you were a firefighter before you started.
Correct. So I'm certified to be a firefighter. Yes, I went to Seneca College. That was my first career choice after high school. I completed that. And I was maybe 19, 20 years old. And I remember like my teachers and a lot of people in the class, like if you go to any firefighting school or college that offers a course, you'll see people of all kinds of ages. You'll see people older than us and you'll see people way younger than us, right? So there's people maybe out of high school and then there's people who are just changing their careers in their 40s, 50s. I think in our class we had someone that was like in their late 40s at the time. And they told me, Andres, is great, you want to do this, but you need more life experience just because that's what they're going to look at on your resume. And for those people that don't know, firefighting is actually a very hard job to get, and you have to really pack your resume in order to actually have a chance of getting hired. Because there's only so much firefighters they can hire, right? So my mom said, why don't you just keep studying something? And at the time I was throwing a lot of parties, you know, my party days, and meeting a lot of people, and one of my buddies said, hey, why don't we get our real estate license. We thought, like I mentioned before, we thought it was going to be easy, and here we are today, still a real estate agent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just fell in love with that, decided that career path. I still had the option to go back to firefighting. Yeah. I thought about it, but I just wanted to do more of the entrepreneurial route.
Well, I understand. Yeah. So that's where I see that community building coming from, right?
Yes.
Yes. From a young age, you had it in you. That's amazing. So, so tell me, like, how did real estate become personal to you? Like, I know that you're very active in the Latin community in Vaughan. So, like, when they come to the country and when they talk to you about starting their journey here,
of course.
Now, what's that path look like in your people?
I think the most important thing that I wanted to instill is the educational piece, or when people calling me, giving them the upfront information that they won't get misguided by. I feel like a lot in our industry, there's a lot of people that kind of choose their words a certain way or try to persuade the tenant or the buyer or the seller to get more business, and I find that just telling someone up front, listen, your profile is probably rated this is what you can do to improve it, or this is the route I suggest you should take, right?
Yes.
Especially now with the lease market being very strict, I'm very honest with my clients, just to set the expectation, and depending on how soon they have to move, and I often tell them, it's probably best you contact people on Kijiji or Facebook, because it might, like the listings that I have access to are realtor listings.
Yes.
And if they're going to be strict and we're wasting not only your time but also my time as well, it might not be fair to the both of us.
Yes.
So depending on the profile, I tell them, from the beginning, if they should look that way or if they should work with us.
That's true. That's true. I hear that too, because the homeowners, they're trying to do their best to protect themselves, and we can't blame them, right, based on what we are hearing. So I completely understand. And so in today's economy that we are seeing right now in the real estate industry as well. So when someone comes to you and tell you, Andres, I want to talk about how I can establish myself here and maybe own my own home. For first-time home buyers, what's your advice right now?
So my advice is to work with a financial planner as well. I obviously take them through Excel sheets, what they're making monthly, what type of debts they have, all their expenses that are going to come with purchasing a home or a condo. And sometimes there's the little things that add up, right, that nobody really talks about, right? Like your home insurance or maintenance on the property as a whole, or your tenant insurance, and little things like that they're like, it might be only $50, $100, but it adds up. A couple of those, you might be within your budget or not within your budget.
That's true.
So I guess in today's market, the best thing is to really work with your clients. And I've been preaching lately that if your realtor is just pushing you to buy, it's not the right realtor for you. So probably don't use them. Call Stella or me, because we'll give you the full layout on if you should be buying or renting, or want what's best for the client at the end of the day, right? Like,
most definitely.
I've seen it myself by my mother being, I guess, taken advantage of with a second mortgage like maybe a couple years ago, maybe 5-10 years ago, and it was just such a bad feeling when something's not made out to be what they said it was to be.
Yes.
So that's why I make an effort to make sure my clients really know what they're doing and what decisions they're making before they make those decisions.
Exactly. Educating them is the a cornerstone, I guess, like right now, because the more education that they have from a professional like yourself or myself, is where that they can choose which is the best way for them to go, right? Most definitely.
Also, financial advisor had a client call me yesterday, a lead from a friend, and she said, I don't have this, I have this, my credit score is this. And I said, listen, probably what's best for you right now is to get in touch with a financial advisor. If you don't have one, I can refer one to you. Yeah. And gave my my financial advisor their phone number.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Or exchange both of them to each other's phone numbers. Because, and I'll tell you why, because sometimes you give the phone number to the client, and then the client gets shy or doesn't want to call, and they've never met that person, and I'm so embarrassed. But if you ask permission, obviously, to the client to give their phone number to the financial advisor or the mortgage agent, then there's more likely a point of contact going to be made.
Yes, yes. When you make the connection on both ends, it's more viable. Yeah, no, understand. So I wanted to ask you. So when you are talking to families, like in your community, what are some of the myths and fears that holding them back from first-time home ownership at this time?
Myths and fears that you need a ridiculously large down payment. That obviously depends what you're buying and where in the GTA or outside the GTA you're going. There's a lot of lack of knowledge when it comes to declaring taxes. People think by declaring less, especially by buying a home, they're going to save money, but if you don't make a certain income or you don't have a certain credit score, that might affect your interest rate. So in the long run, you might pay more. So it's good to know the full spectrum of what you want to do, and not just because my neighbor told me or my plumber told me or whoever told me about accounting, right? Maybe you should get advice from your realtor and your accountant. Just like the financial situation. They talk to me, I give them what I know, and I say, but I suggest you talk to someone who really studies this.
Exactly.
A financial advisor, right? Similar thing. I think that's the biggest misconception we have in our community. Like, let's pay less taxes, and I see why people want to do that, right? They want to save money, but you also have to have a balance. See what's the benefit, right, of doing that or not doing that, right?
No, I hear you. So, end of the day, what I would say to that is, like, talk to the professionals who actually breathe that every single day, like accountants who knows ins and out of it, real estate agents, like who actually do know the market really, really well, and also financial advisors who does that on a daily basis, because they will know better than your grandfather or a friend or the plumber that you're meeting now, right?
And if you claim way less than you actually make, I mean, you might not get approved for that loan or that mortgage because your income is too low.
Exactly.
When really you could sustain it, right? So things to consider before making those decisions.
Exactly. Trying to save short term might affect you long term. So you need to make sure that you're getting the right advice from the right people. Most definitely. And Andres, I want to tell you, you have become a role model in the youth,
thank you.
especially for the Latin community. So tell me your journey there. Like, how do you see yourself? What made you become that role model?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because this past weekend I technically had 3, I guess you could say, youth reach out to me. One of them I've been posting lately. His Instagram is Detail Johnny. He's a entrepreneur, fresh to Canada 2 years ago. Came with nothing, found their way to make it happen, and he just opened his own car detailing company.
Nice.
So he came by the office, he chats it up with me while I'm working, I tell him to come here, come in person, and he's super excited because he's gotten some leads from me just posting him a couple times already.
Wow.
So he's working those now, and he tells me, like, he sees me like a mentor, and I had a lunch with one of my friend's sons who feels a bit lost at the moment. He's in his 20s, jobs are really hard to get right now, doesn't know which career path he wants to take. And I told him that's normal. Like, don't be so hard on yourself, right? You want to focus your energy on positivity and not, I feel doomed because I'm 20, 30, 35, whatever, 40. It's focus that energy to what can I do to make my situation better, or where do I want to go. So it's ironic you mentioned this, and we are interviewing right now because this past Saturday I literally met with 2 of them, and then I spoke to another son of a friend, and I mean, I didn't see it coming. It's kind of happening naturally. And I feel like I am at a point where obviously I'm not any type of therapist or professional, psychologist or anything. But I've been through my fair share of, life, just like anybody else. And I feel like I can give some type of advice to, those who are seeking it, right?
Most definitely, And being in that position comes with some responsibilities too, right?
Of course.
So what do you feel that is for you?
I feel like the way I look at it is like I never had somebody give me that advice. So... but I've had blessings in different ways. So maybe not a mentor in like, let me sit you down and coach you on what you need to do. But there was mentors in other ways of life, right? That, got me to where I am now. So it's paying that back, right? You don't want to be, you don't want to give too much of your time, be too nice, right? But you do want to find a balance between, still helping people, because they say like your hero is you 5 years from now, right? So you might feel lost now, but you're gonna look back and then be like, I got through that, or I did another thing that kind of catapulted me to another level, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's very inspiring to see your journey that you're reaching there. So I want to ask you, this is very interesting. You actually founded LATAC, Latin American Trade Association of Canada. What sparked that?
So 2 years ago when I launched StellarProperties, which is a platform, an MLS platform that we're currently constructing for Latin American realtors to upload their own listings, where almost done that within the next couple of weeks, and we have the launch at the event I'm having. One of my mentors now, his name's Ed, he came to my launch. And it was our second time meeting. We met briefly first time, and he said, "Who put this all together?" And I have a background in promoting and events, so to me it's like second nature. And people are like, "How you do this? How you do this?" But like that's what I grew up with. There's people that go to school to learn things, and there's people that practice things and learn, or there's people that do both.
Yes.
I didn't go to school for it. I just kind of learned as I went. And he's like, "Oh, who put this all together?" It's like a little mini festival, I guess you could say, like 200-300 people, food, music, mariachi, samba dancers, DJ, like a whole bunch of things going on, informational booths, everything. And I said, "Oh, myself and people I know, my team." And he's like, "We need to talk." So long story short, Ed is a grant writer and helps a lot of the cultural festivals in Toronto. So he's part of Asialicious in Scarborough. It's a big festival. I can't remember the exact intersection, but it's in Scarborough. And we started talking about opening up a non-for-profit for me, something that can go, alongside what I'm doing and everything. And then he also introduced me to Sean Allen, a very popular gentleman in especially east side of Toronto. He's currently running for city councilor for Scarborough Rouge, which is the northeast corner of Scarborough. And Ed's wife is part of the Asian Association. I forgot the actual abbreviation, but Sean is also part of that board.
I see,
or that association. And then Sean opened up his own Caribbean association. And what these associations are is they promote bilateral trade between Canada and whichever region that is, Asia, Caribbean, etc. And there's actually some things in motion right now that they are doing between both countries. And he asked me, "Why don't you open the Latin American one since you have a presence in the Latin community?" And that's what we did. We opened it April 4th.
Wow,
and now we're planning our first business trade mission trip to Dominican Republic.
Wow, that's amazing. That's very inspiring.
Thank you.
And do you see that opportunity right now, or have you seen this for some time coming?
What's funny you said that is that I've always had a vision of working with Latin America.
Yes.
And this is the first time I actually say this on camera, but I'm a strong believer that if you keep knocking on a door, but you feel like it might not be your door, maybe it's another door type of thing. And I feel like real estate here is my bread and butter. It's what's my job. It's what makes me money here. It's what allows me to invest in all these things. But I feel like Latin America is my calling. I'm still going to service my clients here, and we still have a team to serve you. But I feel like my passion project is the whole Latin American aspect, especially now with what's going on with the tariffs and investors looking for new opportunities because the real estate market here is not the greatest. And Canada is very top heavy with real estate investments. It's like, even myself, not just saying everyone else, we just believe in real estate investing and that's it. Like we don't know much about anything else. Not everybody, but we're very real estate investor driven in Canada. And we want to provide other opportunities to people, not just, the Canadian real estate market.
Of course. No, I hear you. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So what opportunities do you see that is there right now between Latin America and Canada, especially for the new generation and young investors?
So it depends what you want to get into. Obviously, real estate would be one of the first ones that we could talk about because there's a lot of sectors that are growing. There's a lot of land severance that's going on. People buying a big plot of land, severing it, putting the utilities, getting all the permitting. Obviously, that has its process, his own risks and rewards. There's also people investing in some Airbnb markets, depending which one. Obviously, we're seeing now that some Airbnb markets aren't the greatest, right? Laws can change. Something can happen within that region or that city. It's a lot of startup costs, and today's Airbnb numbers might not be the short-term rental numbers. Might not be the same rental numbers when your project or property is ready. That's in terms of real estate, but agriculture is a big thing right now. Tourism. Even though economies are low in some regions, a lot of people are still traveling to Latin America because it's affordable, especially Colombia right now. The Canadian, especially American dollar, compared to the Colombian peso, I mean, you could eat for a good meal for a couple $, which is pretty insane. But that's why there's so much interest. In that. And then obviously like technology, healthcare system. Something we want to focus on in the future is aged living / retirement homes, wellness centers. And that's something we're building a business plan as well for now. slowly at the right pace, get to eventually launch within a couple of years. We'll see, maybe less.
That's amazing. So for anybody listening today, can you tell me a little bit about like how that journey looks like for somebody who's coming to explore their options on investing in the Latin America or Dominican Republic? Like, what do they need, and how does that journey start, and how the next steps?
In terms of your own journey, do your own research, watch YouTube, Google, do your own, references and research as well. In terms of our end, minimum you can do is sign up for our email blast, latintrade.ca. Sign up for our email blast. You'll get the info. Our first Dominican trade mission will most likely be the end of this year. We are still figuring out some details to announce that. And just get involved. Come out to our events. Follow us on Instagram. Tell us, maybe send an email to us or reach out to us on what you're thinking, what you've heard, what we would suggest. It's a very case-by-case basis because it depends on what sector they're interested in.
Yes.
And I feel like you almost have to be, not always, but you sometimes should be passionate about the sector you're going into and like believing it, right? A lot of these businesses in Latin America are capital raising right now to do bigger things, open bigger factories, build railways, build roads, whatever it may be. Maybe that's something you can invest in or get involved in, right? But just depends. It's more of a one-on-one consultation, and then we'll put you in the right direction with the right person, with the right consulate, because we have a lot of good relationships with the consul generals from different Latin American countries that are here in Canada.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. That's, I know. So anybody who's looking at those opportunities, you need to definitely hit up Andres. We're going to leave your information in the bio as well. So I want to also ask you, so anybody who's listening right now, and if they're looking for advice to dream bigger, in your journey, Andres, you started from scratch, and you're doing these amazing things right now. So anybody who are thinking or self-doubting at this time, in this moment, listening to this, what advice do you have for them?
I mean, some people that know me, that are watching this, probably know my real personal journey and what's happened in the past. But I don't want to say if I made it, because I don't feel like I've made it yet. But if I can get this far, why can't you? Type of thing is kind of my theory. And one day I'll release a book and share with you guys all everything with detail.
Yeah. For sure, I look forward to it.
But you just got to find a way.
Yeah.
Single mother, grew up, we got by with what we could, opened up a couple different businesses, and now the seeds are starting to flourish, right? And trust me, I had a lot of people ask me, why are you doing this? And why are you doing this? And maybe you're spreading yourself too thin. The reality is you're only spreading yourself too thin if you're overly stressed, which is normal sometimes. And you feel like things are not moving. People often, just like the Canadian investors, they look too much at real estate. You can't just look at the numbers. You got to look at the overall benefit of making that connection, doing that event, posting on social media. You're not going to see the benefit of it right away. The only thing you're going to see the benefit right away is if you win the lottery. That's the only thing that gives you a benefit instantly. But other than that, just chip away, do something you're passionate about. Work on yourself, make sure your mental, your health is in check as well, your physical health, your emotional health, because if you can't perform properly, which is something I've learned recently, it's going to affect everything you're doing. And there's a video that I don't know if you guys want to share on this, but it's very inspirational. Maybe we'll put it at the end. We just got to blur out one of the parts because there's technically swearing, but we can beep that out maybe if he wants to do that. But it's a really powerful video about systems. And it says that people don't rise to their potential, they fall to their system, right? If you're the best athlete, best basketball player today, doesn't mean you're forever going to be that unless you train hard and outwork everybody, right? So that's what that video says. And that video honestly changed my life because I implement that into my life now. And I have people on my team that I delegate things to so that I don't feel that pressure of doing 10,000 things at once, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm very, like, when you're telling me this, I'm thinking who's involved in my head, because I listen to some of the things that he used to say, because when he's running that track, it's not the first time. He has run that track in his mind and physically in his practice for hundreds and thousands of times. Exactly. So for him to beat the records and get to where he was, he had to keep doing it every single day. Yeah, so exactly what you're saying. So no matter, like, that's his story, like your story is unique as well. So do what you gotta do, be consistent at it, and you're gonna get there somehow. So I wanted to ask, your story has been really inspiring.
Thank you.
So I want to ask, when it comes to abundance over fear in today's economy, the world that we are living in, what are your thoughts there, and what do you have to tell our audience?
I feel like there's a misconception on collaboration. I spoke about this recently on my Instagram. I have a lot of mortgage friends. I have a lot of realtor friends.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've gotten good energy and bad energy from a couple mortgage agents in terms of having so many friends, right? Or even colleagues, because some of them actually, we do business together. I had one colleague recently come to my event, and he told me, man, I don't care if I get any business from you. I love coming to your events because I always meet people. Yes. And he's like, I've actually gotten 2 leads from your events. And I was like, oh, so technically I have sent you business, is what I basically said to him. And he started laughing. Yeah. And if you throw an event, especially if you get into like the high numbers, like, and I say high, I mean like over 50, 100 people. And I say that humbly, it's almost impossible that you're going to be able to pinpoint everybody and do business with everybody because they have a preference or maybe a certain type of person they met or someone they want to work with. So I believe in growing together, learning off each other, because your system might be better in some ways than mine, or vice versa, right? And then there's things we admire about each other's systems, and you learn about it, right? Have that conversation. Yes. But a lot of people in this industry, go dog eat dog, and I know there's times to be serious in business, but there's also times to be open-minded and more giving, so that you can receive as well. Right?
Exactly. That's one of the questions I got asked too, Andres. I hope you don't mind sharing it here. Yeah. They asked me you're in real estate, so what's the point having other realtors on a talk show promoting? Oh, yeah. It's not about that. It's about collaboration, right? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we are unique in our own ways,
of course,
and together we are more stronger than by ourselves. So I definitely admire that you have the same mindset, and kudos to you. I wanted to also ask this personal question. So, what is one promise that you have made to the younger self, Andres, that you're very proud of today?
I would say never give up. I would say no matter what people say, obviously, I do have a theory that you should listen to your haters as well, because sometimes they have a point.
Yeah.
I've actually been told some things, and I'm like, shoot, that hurts, but I could see why people think that, right? But find the good in anything you do, and find ways to get better, and don't get so emotional about constructive criticism.
Yes.
Even negative criticism. They might have some type of point, right? So you might want to bring that together, take a deep breath if you're a little agitated, and just think it through, and maybe that can help you become a better realtor or whatever career path you are.
Better, whatever that you want to be, right? My dad used to tell me, because as kids we used to react, we don't respond, right? So he always said, don't react, take your time, think about it, and then respond. I think what's the mindset that we need to thrive on.
Correct. Yeah, most
definitely. And for our listeners, especially the youth, new immigrant families in the country, especially this is airing on Canada Day, July 1st. So what's one message you would like to leave them with?
There's someone praying for the situation you're in. I'm a strong believer in glass half full. I spoke to one of my close friends recently, and he was just so down on himself and the economy and stuff. And I told him I had to literally put on a WhatsApp message, point form everything is accomplished and the position he's in to become better or better than average. And I told him you can either cry about it and be very negative about it, or you can cry about it and be negative for a second and then catch yourself and go out there and produce better and better yourself and focus on the solution, because it's very easy to fall into that trap and that rabbit hole of just focusing on what's going wrong, but it's about how can you make it better, because it becomes a cycle.
Yes.
A cycle. Yes. When I had my weight gain, it was a cycle. I was eating bad, I was eating late, it was negative, not taking care of myself. And then now that I'm taking care of myself, it's reversing that cycle. And it's I'm still a bigger person than average, but I'm on the right path.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. And then it goes back to that whole don't focus just on the money. right? Or, oh, I haven't made a sale in so long. How do we get that next sale? What do we do? How do we lock into to break that and go into the right path?
That's true. Oh, well, that's deep. That's deep. Abundance thinking, Andres, right? Most definitely. So I have to say, this episode has been really amazing. You have shared not only your journey, like valuable insights, your learning curve, your story. That's very, very inspiring. I look forward for big things for LEDEC.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to be, part of those events that you're hosting. I've been in the past, but I'm looking forward for more.
Sure, come by.
Yeah, amazing. So thank you very much, Andres, for taking the time, joining us today and sharing your story and inspiring us.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.
You're most welcome. Wow, take a second and just let that sink in. From watching his parents chase the dream to helping families live it, to now leading bold global initiatives that connect real estate, culture, and community. Andres Ramirez is proof that where you start doesn't define how far you can go. If this episode sparked something in you, if you felt inspired, informed, or just flat out motivated, then don't just keep it for yourself. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss stories like this. Tap like if you felt the passion, and most importantly, share this episode with a friend, a fellow dreamer, or someone who needs a reminder that anything is possible when purpose meets action. Comment below what part of Andres' story inspired you the most. Let's turn this into a conversation that keeps going beyond this podcast. And if you're someone who believes in building wealth, giving back, and doing it all with heart, then you're in the right place. This is Stellar Talk Show, where we don't just talk real estate, we talk life, legacy, and leveling up. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Stella Ram, and I'll see you next time. Until then, stay inspired, stay informed, and stay stellar. Thank you for spending your time with us on the Stellar Talk Show. We hope you found value in today's episode and gained insights to help elevate your lifestyle. If you enjoyed the discussion, please like, subscribe, and share it with anyone who could benefit. It means the world to us. Until our next episode, stay inspired, and I'll see you soon on our next Stellar Talk Show.